from the January 6th insurrection to misinformation to political tribalism, American democracy is facing significant challenges. Chicago has certainly not always had the most cordial relationship with democracy over the decades because of machine-style politics and corruption. A new book from a longtime Chicago political observer aims to diagnose what's wrong and offer prescriptions to fix it. The book is called Democracy's Rebirth: The View from Chicago. And joining us now is the author, Dick Simpson, also former alderman and longtime political scientist at the University of Illinois, Chicago. Dick, it's always great to have you. We mentioned those major problems that U.S. democracy is facing right now. How do you diagnose the problem?
Well, I think we do have a major crisis in democracy, and it occurs in a number of different areas like income inequality, big money and dark money and political campaigns, polarization in our politics and gridlock, and on down the list. And it's more than any one area, and it's going to take a comprehensive effort to cope with the problems. But Chicago, in some ways, gives us some guidance as to what might be possible.
And you certainly have observed what's gone on in Chicago politics for the better part of the last 50 years. The subheading of the book is The View from Chicago. So what lessons does Chicago's political history have for the current predicament in the United States?
Well, if you'll remember back to the Harold Washington election and how racially divided the city was, Harold got elected with the black vote, the white vote was split. There was a rainbow coalition behind Harold, but it was a real battle, and it led to council wars. Fast forward to 2019, and Lori Lightfoot got elected with really significant support in the white community and a rainbow coalition that elected her. And she has not had council wars. There's certainly divisions, as you know, in the city council, but they are the ones you would expect in a democracy. So in one sense, Chicago has become more democratic in the last 40 years, more like a democracy. It's not perfect, and there are a lot of things we need to do, but it does give us a sense that something about a major change is possible.
You know, and there's a lot of issues right now around voter restrictions and false claims of election fraud, although you bring up in your book that election fraud was certainly a thing in the heyday of Chicago machine politics. Some of your remedies that you outline in the book, Dick, include creating a fair tax system, public financing of political campaigns, better civics education, automatic voter registration, and a repeal of that Citizens United Supreme Court decision. So let's pick out one: automatic voter registration. As I just mentioned, you're very aware of some of the efforts, especially in Republican states, to enact voter restrictions, and then in both Republican and Democratic states to double down on gerrymandering. So how does the country realistically reverse course when it seems to be going further in the other direction?
Well, in Illinois, we've gone the other direction, in a positive direction. We now do have automatic voter registration, and we have mail-in balloting that's going to be permanent. If you're a voter in Chicago, you got from the Board of Election Commissioners a form that will let you permanently vote by mail if you choose to do so. We have early voting, which we didn't used to have a decade ago, and now it's become possible, so it's not all election day. That means our participation has gone up. Nationally in the country, we had 67% of the people vote that were eligible in the last presidential election in 2020, and that's there were more people than since 1900, more people than ever entirely in our history, and more percentage since 1900. Those are positive changes. Yes, we have voter suppression that is happening in the South and in other states, and that has to be reversed, and we have to pass the Voter Rights Act, and whichever version of it. And to do that, we've got to cure the filibuster. All these things are interrelated.
And you also talk about improving civics education. How important is that, especially when you consider, you know, in many states or many public school systems, civics isn't a required course?
Well, it wasn't in Illinois, strangely enough, until 4 years ago when the state legislature did pass a requirement that every eighth grader and every high school student must take a civics engagement class in order to graduate high school. That's a major leap forward in Illinois, and you're quite right. In many places, it is not happening. There is a major bill pending in Congress that's not very well known, which is Civics Secures Democracy Act, and it has Republican and Democratic sponsors. It would make civics education on the same footing as STEM education that we do for scientists, engineers, and mathematicians. So in the public schools, and I look forward to passing that legislation.
Who is the ultimate audience for your book, and what is the ultimate message you want them to take away?
What I want people to think about is how we reinvent democracy, how we give it a rebirth, and I'm looking for anyone who wants to take up that task seriously. But I think a lot of them are the young people. I view this as a decade-long effort, not a 30-minute effort. When I was in the city council, Alderman Berdoliak, who's now been convicted 3 times of corruption, however, said a very wise thing. He said, if you're going to fight the machine, you better bring lunch. Meaning, this is a decade-long task, and we have to depend on the future generation. But we can't leave it to them now. We have to make improvements. And there are 2 basic improvements. One, we need neighborhood government and the right to participate in shaping government policy in our own neighborhoods. And second, we need more deliberative democracy. We need to have direct contact with our representatives in a meaningful way, which we don't have now.
And a lot of contact actually right now occurs on social media. Dick Simpson, you've seen it all. You've obviously lived through council wars, and you've been studying this stuff for several decades. Congratulations on your book, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Paris, and I hope some people will come down. We're going to have an event at the public library, at the Harold Washington Library on Thursday at 6 o'clock with Mayor Lightfoot and I talking about how we cure democracy in Chicago and America.
Thursday at 6 o'clock, Harold Washington Library. All right, and again, the book is called Democracy's Rebirth, The View from Chicago, and you can read an excerpt on our website. And as we mentioned, Simpson will be in conversation with Mayor Lori Lightfoot at the Harold Washington Library on Thursday for the book's official launch.